back, everyone. I hope you had a restful time and you're back with vim and vigor. We are going to share with you how to write a research proposal. But before we do that, let us finish the unfinished business of last year, where we were talking about how to write different aspects of your thesis. I want to talk about how to write your last chapter. You start off by reiterating the DNA of your work, the problem statement, where you started, the questions that you had, and what literature had found about those questions. So the very first part of your work is an introduction that introduces, almost summarizes your first chapter. And then you articulate in the second section the key highlights of literature, what literature found around your problem statement, around the questions that you asked, that you posed in your research project. Then the next set of questions are how you addressed each research question. And here you want to inform your reader what literature said, what you found in literature around the questions you had, what hypotheses were tested, what hypotheses were confirmed or disconfirmed, and what your findings are in relation to literature. This is key because the purpose of this chapter, the key purpose is for you to articulate with clarity how you have contributed to new knowledge. The examiner is not just looking at that, but is looking at your ability to conclude your arguments, to weave the different pieces of your work together with a punchy conclusion that shows that this path that you embarked on has results, and the results are contribution to new knowledge. So you can't contribute to knowledge before you articulate what old knowledge you were building on. And that knowledge is the theories, the existing theories around the particular problem. You will hear me, and I'm sure you've heard me, talking about why theory is important. Because when all is done and dusted, as I've always said, what your examiner is looking for how you are pushing the envelope, how you are contributing to new knowledge, or how you have embarked on an original path to crafting new knowledge. So examiner is looking at your intellectual maturity, your capabilities to make arguments. And it's one of the things we're going to cover this year, because you won't go very far if you don't understand the different components of an argument. What is a premise? What are the issues at hand? What is the evidence? What are the assumptions of that knowledge, new knowledge that you're bringing across? So all of those things, you weave them and you put them as your concluding statement. And lastly, you talk in your last chapter about implications to policy, implications to practice. You can't finish your chapter without identifying avenues for further research. Those avenues usually are to address the limitations of your study. So as you are working on your thesis, you need to identify the limitations or the delimitations, because avenues for further research should be argued in a way that closes those gaps, that addresses those limitations that you came across. So when we talk about your research proposal, you need to have the end in mind, how the last chapter is going to look like, so that you build towards contribution to new knowledge. I wish you well. Next time we'll talk about how to write a proposal, and we'll spend a few sessions on how to write a winning proposal. All the best and goodbye.